Hey, what's up? It's your boy, Pastor Ron, and welcome to my podcast. I appreciate you joining me. As you can see, we're doing a little of rebranding and reintroducing, but it'll be the same content. It's kind of, working on getting a new logo, a new look. Now it's a new name, Faith Talk with Pastor Ron. I think that's it. I'm not going to change the name anymore, but I kind of wanted to have just a different look and direction with the podcast, where it's going and where and what I thought I was going to do on the onset is not where it's at. So I think this is more of the direction. So again, it's a rebranding, get some new logos, new art, new all that type of stuff. So please stay tuned for that, but continue to share, like, subscribe. Those of you who are more visual learners, this same podcast is on my YouTube page, the same title, Faith Talk with Pastor Ron, under the podcast section. So please, and those of you who are watching on my YouTube channel, I also have an audio version wherever you can hear podcasts. So I hope that you guys enjoy it and appreciate what goes on today. So enough of the intros and explanations. The title of today's podcast is Where's My Party? And this is an attempt to talk about a topic or a challenge that we're facing in this society. Recently, one of my favorite basketball players in the whole wide world, Dame Lillard, who I wish Dame was on the Knicks because the Knicks are my team. But he was talking about something and for those of you that know, Dame is someone that plays for the Trailblazers, Portland Trailblazers, been there forever. He gets persecuted a lot too because his team sucks, man. His team sucks, middle of the road. Not NBA trend of building a super team and getting all your friends and great players to play together. No one's going to Portland. He has not done that, and he just is a loyal player or athlete. And a lot of that it's weird. You complain about LeBron James for hopping between team and team, and same thing for Kevin Durant. But yet, when someone stays and does not do that, he gets called stupid. So, typical groupthink. Folks don't know what they want. And so he had an interview, and in this interview, he talked about one of the issues in the league. This is not a basketball podcast, trust me. But just to give background, the quality of the NBA is not where it used to be. A lot of young guys are coming into the league, and are bad at fundamentals. They're just threes and dunks. Can't hit a mid-range jump shot. Don't know how to play the game. The IQ, basketball IQ, etc., needs to improve. So he was kind of talking about on this person, I think it was JJ Redick, on JJ Redick's podcast. He was talking about what he has seen in the league. I believe Dame has been in the league for 11 years now, I think. And he say one of the main difference and what's eroding the league is the fact that these young guys come in and expect to be catered to, and they don't have the hunger, don't have the discipline in order for them to do well. So in other words, what's eroding the league is a sense of entitlement. And I feel that this is an issue that is killing our generation. This is an issue that's causing this Gen Z, I guess you would call it, generation to not reach its full potential. Is that folks feel that because they're here, certain things should be given to them. They do not believe in hard work. They do not believe in earning stuff. They believe certain things are given. And when these things are not given, they quietly remove themselves or loudly remove themselves and find a way to seek out these opportunities that give them what they expect. And a lot of times, we as people, the way we approach God is the same way, with a level of entitlement. I've seen folks, come into church with their arms crossed and chilling, and with the attitude, you are lucky that I'm here. All I gotta do, I'm giving you my time. It's your privilege, as opposed to seeing that it's actually our privilege and we're lucky because God has given us breath in our lungs to allow us to be here. So how dare any second of your life that you spend in church in God's presence, you come with an attitude, you're lucky that I made it. God is putting breath in our lungs. This is why I'm really, really big on passion and doing what makes you happy. Because you don't know how much time you have on this earth. I'm 42, 43. Yeah, I'm be 40, so I'm 43. Dang. I'm be 44, Lord willing, this year in September. And I don't know how much time I have. I'm so grateful for seeing 43 and a half. Like, it's a big deal to me. And my goal is that I pursue my passion. This is why, I spend, this podcast means so much to me. And sometimes it's like, right now, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:10 a.m. And I'm sitting here and recording because I have a passion for this. God has created me to do this. So, and I will make sure that every second that I live like it's my last. So how dare do I walk around as if you guys are lucky I'm here? No, I'm lucky, man. It's a privilege, man. Folks are literally dropping dead, and God allowed me to be alive. So this spirit of entitlement is a cancer, not only in the NBA, like Dame Lillard said, but I think it's something that has gone and infiltrated our entire society. So one of the jobs I had when I was, in my career was with this company where we took care of the TV and phone services for the hospital. The same company I mentioned a couple of podcasts ago where I had to come in on Sunday. So I actually left and I came back after school. And when I left and came back after school, I came back in a managerial position, right? So in this position, I would sit here and you would have folks come in to interviews demanding certain wages. Like, hey, I expect to make, let's say, $20 an hour. And I'm like, bro, like, this is your first job. Well, there's something about hard work that is missing with those who are entitled. When you're entitled, you don't push, you don't pursue, you don't fight, you don't scrap. You just sit here and say, yo, I am here. Give me what I deserve. I deserve this. You owe me this. And there's no let me earn this. Let you know what I love? I saw this the other day on someone's, I forgot who was it. I'm not going to lie and say I know these. I forgot her name. What is her name? But nonetheless, it's going to kill me not knowing her name. Nonetheless, so she came in and she sat there and said, hey, I deserve X, Y, and Z. I deserve date nights. I deserve jewelry. I deserve to be wined and dined. I deserve this. I deserve that. And I'm like, yo, I was talking to somebody like, yo, I'm so happy I'm married and I'm out the dating game because these people out here are bugging out. Like, you come in on a first date with a bunch of demands, bro. Like, who does that? As opposed to saying, you know what? I I would like these things, or I can do it for myself. How about that? Eh? How about them apples? You want a date night? Take yourself out on a date. You need your toes done? Pay for your own toenails. It is not the other person's job to fulfill a bunch of demands. And when you come in, you think of demands. Of these demands, you have a list of what a man or a woman should do. What where do you see that at? Who does that? Where you sit there and all these demands. And that's the problem. People just have all these demands and don't have the background to match it. How do you sit here and you know come to a job interview, didn't finish school, didn't have not held a job for more than 6 months, and have the audacity to have a level of demand? How can you sit here and have 6 boyfriends in the past 6 months, but yet want to come in here and have a level of demands? Humble yourself. Humble yourself, bro. And stop sitting here and just feel entitled. And say, if you cannot do this, then you're not the one for me. Then bye. Like, what is this? Like, I don't get people that just feel entitled. That's a lack of maturity. Like my kids, I have a son who's 9, another who's 4, and my daughter just turned 2. As she turned 2, she's spoiled. My sons, they're like their dad, and they're really into video games. They want V-Bucks, Robux, VCs every day. And when dad says no, it's like, whoa, like that, it's only $10. I'm not giving you $10. Because I'm trying to teach him, and like I could do it, but I'm just trying to teach him the level of hard work. And understand the value of, no, you have to work for things. Things will not be given to you. That this spirit of entitlement that you have is not one that you should sit there and constantly hold on to. You have to believe that, I'm going to learn how to do better. I'm going to learn how to get my own stuff. Do you know that I have been working, since I was 17. And it's not that my parents could not or would not help me out. It's the fact that I have ingrained in me, and a dog in me that wants to work. And that when I want stuff, I'll get my own stuff. I don't have to ask a person for it. I don't have to expect someone, even my parents, to do something for me. I want a pair of sneakers. I work, get a paycheck, and get them sneakers. Like that is basically the way it should be. But we have people that sit here that have a sense of entitlement. Like, why work? Give this to me. So I don't get that. I don't get this whole entitled mentality. I don't get this whole you best to do these things for me. Nah, fam. It's a level of hard work, and it's to the point where I was telling my wife the other day, I'm allergic to guys that are lazy. Like I hate seeing lazy guys. It might sound chauvinistic, like about the women too, but I think as a man, it's your responsibility to work. And the fruits of your labor, what you get from that's just what you get from that. You don't sit here and these are a pat on the back. Hey, I want to give my man a shout out because he has a job. You're a man. You're a man. You're an entrepreneur. Things fall. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pick it back up and find something else. So this spirit of entitlement is very dangerous, and to kind of bring it full circle, it reminds me and why I title this "Where's My Party." It reminds me of a story in the Bible, in the book of Luke, called the story of the Prodigal Son. And I believe it's Luke. I think it's Luke 15 or Luke 10. I forgot the exact passage. It's going to kill me. where I let me look it up. I know you guys. I want you guys to read it. I'm not gonna read it for you, but I want to make sure. I bet. See Luke 15. See Luke 15 verses 11 to 32. See, I'm not that bad after all. Luke 15, right? So it's a story. I'm gonna give you a brief synopsis. Prodigal son at his dad's house says, "Dad, I want my inheritance now. Give me my what you have for me now." Dad, out of his love, sister, and gives him the inheritance. When he gives him the inheritance, he leaves the house and he goes out, makes it rain, spends all his money, pops bottles, buy all the Balenciagas, buy all the video games, and get to the point where he's done, right? And he's at the very bottom, so low that he was actually feeding pigs, and the pig food was appealing to him. That shows that he's like at the bottom of the bottoms. And so what happens is, and eventually he goes back to his dad's house. And when he comes back to his dad's house, he says, "Dad, I'm sorry. I ain't worthy to be called your son anymore." But Dad said, "Listen, I've been waiting for you to come back. Let's throw a party." Meanwhile, back at the ranch, he had another brother who was out there sitting and who stayed at his dad's house, a good boy, the good son. Took care of his dad, didn't go out, is waiting for his inheritance, etc., etc. He comes back from work and he's like, "Yo," and he asked one of the servants, "Yo, why the party?" He's like, "Yo, your brother came back home." Then he said, "What about me? I've been here the entire time. Where's my party? You know, where's my celebration? Where's my pat on the back?" Listen, I see what you're doing, and I love you for what you do, and I acknowledge what you do. But we have to take this time and pause and celebrate the one that has come back, right? And then you sit there and you think about the brother who sat here and said again, "Where's my party?" He felt entitled. Why? Because he did what his dad asked for him to do. And he felt that he needed to have some kind of celebration. He's entitled to a party. He's entitled to be celebrated. And sometimes that level of entitlement, where I feel I deserve to be honored, is what can erode our relationship with God. Because what we do, we're sitting here and we're sitting here waiting for our party so much that we miss out on what the true mission and what we're supposed to be doing. I'm sitting here and have a bunch of lists of what a man should do or a woman should do for me to get into a relationship. That God is sending us opportunities and things, and we're missing it out. We're missing out. So entitlement's a dangerous thing, because entitlement causes us to do work just for a party. We do things just to get something out of it, as opposed to doing things out of love. Entitlement has caused us to become no longer sons and daughters of God, but employees of God. Because we do things just to expect some kind of paycheck or a party or afterwards. And that the true heart of what we're supposed to do, because if we're completely frank, the brother should have went out and got the brother should have went out and got back and went and chased after his younger brother and say, "Come back home." The prodigal son should have never had to come back on his own wits to come back to his dad's house. It was a brother who sat there that was at the house working, should have sat there and said, "No, let me go get my brother." So when we're not celebrated, if we're not honored, and we're not lifted up, there's a level of resentment that happens, because for that we're entitled to have a party, we're entitled to receive certain things. So when I sit there and I'm dating a young lady, and then we go out to eat, and I don't take her to Steak 48, I don't take her to the top restaurant with Chris and all them top restaurants, right? Wherever is top for you, then there's a problem. Don't I deserve this? Like, do I look like a Applebee's type of chick? Yeah, and some of you do like an Applebee's type, but when I met you, you eat at McDonald's. Now Applebee's is actually an upgrade for you, so I don't get it. You know, when I met you, you were eating Wawa's. Do I look like that? But it happens a lot of times that we feel entitled. And I pray that spirit does not kill our generation, because it's like a cancer. And we breed it sometimes because, in our sporting events, one thing I hate are these participation trophies. What I hate is the fact that people feel that they should not, they should always be celebrated, and it shouldn't win or lose. They deserve a trophy. And then what happens is when you don't win, it causes tension and trauma. My son, my 9-year-old son, Noah, sat there and this year for the first time he wanted to play basketball. So we're like, you know what? Extracurricular activities, out there doing X, Y, Z, we're going to support it. And then what happens is they lost one game the entire year and got to the playoffs and got bounced in the first round. Very intense game, man. I was yelling at the refs. It was crazy. It was a bad John. But you just see how the boys reacted to the loss. They were crying. They were really, really, really bad. My son was bad for the entire night and day after. He was just, because they feel like, hey, I should win. And how could I leave a season and not get anything? Why? Because you lost. And I had to teach him that lesson. You win some and you lose some. End of the day, it's not the ref's fault. You're trying to blame the refs and blame the coach and this person cheated. No, you just lost. And this type of dynamic is tricky in an entitled generation. For me to feel that despite my background, I deserve, quote unquote, that's the key word, an entitled person feel that they deserve something. Person who's humble says, I don't deserve anything. The only thing I deserve is what I work hard for. An entitled person feels that I deserve certain things. I don't need to work hard for anything, because I should automatically receive what I deserve. And that's the dangerous mindset. We have to get out of this place of entitlement, of being so ungrateful, being so demanding to others. At the end of the day, man, I'm like, you know what? This is dangerous. So instead of celebrating someone else's, instead of pursuing and thinking about the person next to you, you're sitting here waiting for your party. That's due to a level of entitlement. So instead of me sitting here and saying, you know what, let me go out there and go after my brother, I'm sitting here and making demands and expecting certain things. It's not easy. It's tough in the long run. But at the end of the day, let's work hard. And I believe that if you work hard, you shall see the fruits of your labor. The Bible clearly says you shall reap what you sow. And what we have in an entitled generation, what people do is they sit here and they expect to sow without reaping. I'm sorry, but it's to reap without sowing. Excuse me. They're sitting and say, it's my season to reap. It's my time to receive. What have you sown? What have you put into the ground to expect to reap anything? Your time, your energy, what have you done? And we got to understand that that is the difference between those who thrive and those who don't. Those who are willing to sow. Those who want to put the effort in. It's not just money. It's your time. It's your energy. It's your funds. It's your blood, sweat, and tears. What are you sowing? For you to sit here and say it's my time to reap, and then when you don't reap, despite your lack of sowing, then there comes to a sense of resentment. You go on somebody's page and you hating on them, not knowing I sacrificed so much to get to where I had to get to. While you were out in the club, I was sitting here at a place where I was out here studying. I can't get mad at somebody who has a six-pack. I wasn't in the gym at 5 a.m. when you were. I was eating what I want while you said I'm on a diet. I can't eat cake. So at the end of the day, those things are crucial for you. So I want you to understand the value of putting in hard work, because that hard work shall produce fruit. Stop being lazy. Stop being a hater and put some work. And at the end of the day, you shall reap what you sow.